All right, guys, welcome back. Episode number 8 here once again with Dax for another podcast, another motivational, inspirational,
Another podcast on motivation.
Yeah. Well, yeah, today it's actually on motivation and boosting motivation because we figured this time of year, everyone seems to sort of lose their motivation, whether it's in fitness or business or their work or whatever it might be. So we're going to give you guys some tips on how we sort of find our motivation again and get back in the swing of things because sometimes it gets hard, and the longer that you sort of leave it, the harder it is to get that motivation back. I know for me personally, I'll go through massive, I think motivation, it comes in cycles. You go heaps of motivation, then you might go down where you sort of got no motivation, then back again. And that happens with both fitness, business, life, whatever it might be.
So we're touching on motivation for exercising?
Bit of both, because they're going to tie in sort of together, I think. So I guess these applications can be taken both in if you own a business, if you are trying to get motivation to get back into fitness or into work or starting a new project or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess coming into the cold weather tends to have people feel like getting out of bed is hard.
It is, yeah.
It is hard. It's even hard getting out of the shower. I'm usually a guy that jumps in the shower for like a minute and get over it. I'm out, bang. This morning, it being cooler weather, I was legit just go, I couldn't be bothered getting out.
Yeah.
Like even that.
Yeah.
That's enough. Like even though 20 minutes, that's even past like your normal routine.
Yeah.
I guess when exercising, let's just say, it can go either way. A lot of people that train early in the morning before work, it tends to be a lot easier to just sleep in. Oh, another hour in this warm bed. And then what happens? I've got no time to train.
Yep.
Bang.
Yep.
You've missed your workout.
Yep.
I'll train in the Savo. You finish work, can't walking out of work. It's cool. It's cold again. You're like, fuck, I really couldn't be bothered. That's why people train in the morning. They get to the Arvo, they don't want to train. So that's a big factor. Massive factor.
I think when everything's going good and your motivation's high and you're cruising along and you feel on top of the world, usually something happens for you to lose that motivation, whether it's a big night out or there's some sort of stress that comes into your life or you feel like you're getting no results. Yeah. Usually if you're rolling along and everything's good, something will get thrown at you that throws that motivation off.
For sure.
And it's, I think to get back on track, you've got to realise what that event was and then sort of get your steps in place to start.
It could be, it could be you're coming down with an illness.
Yep.
You could just get the flu. You could get a stomach bug for a couple of days. That could put you up for 3 or 4 days. And then that could lead to 3 or 4 days, 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, that's the thing. That's where like a lot of people will lose motivation after being sick for a couple of days, and a lot of people do get sick coming into the winter months with the flu and cold weather, and then winter just passes by and you haven't really exercised or trained.
100%.
You tend to sort of go for those foods that are nice and comforting, carbolicious. Like, let's all be honest, we love fucking all eating bread. And
not me, bro.
No, of course not.
Asparagus,
now, I'm not saying bread's a bad thing, but like in excess carby foods,
I'm a
warm
carby girl.
Foods, dipping the warm bread with butter into soup. Oh shit! Warm lasagna.
And nibble me arm off.
Yeah, see that you know what? And like I said, things in like moderation is fine, but winter really is where it comes against.
Yeah,
and people lose track.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a big reason why we have been so slammed for not doing the winter challenge for our next year.
Yeah,
but now we've turned around like we've got to do this because
people were just crying out.
They literally were, and then we're saying, when's the next one? And I'm like, I get messages. I'm like, fuck, I wonder if I actually tell them when the next one is. They're gonna have the shits, and you're right back September, and then it's seen, no reply. Oh, okay. And you're like, oh, God.
Yeah.
And then you put up, we're starting, and then bang, they've signed up already.
Everyone's keen, which is awesome. Is awesome. So I guess the way to sort of get back on track and get the motivation going again is to set yourself a basic list of non-negotiables. So these non-negotiables are things that you do both when you're highly motivated, because they're going to be super easy, but again when your motivation is lacking. And I do this at work. So say like I come in and for some reason I've got no motivation, I've got no creativity, I've got like a list of non-negotiables that are basically, I like to think of it as like you're just getting your name marked off. You know, it's the bare basics. So for someone out there, it might be going for a walk in the morning, sticking to your meal plan, and going to bed at the same time. They're your non-negotiables. They're what you do no matter what. And then, like I said, when motivation's high, it's easy to get up and go for a walk. It's easy to get your meals in. It's easy to train. It's easy to do your work. But when your motivation's low, at least if you can stick to that base level blueprint, it's going to make things so much easier, because then you know, hey, I've ticked off the bare basics I needed to do today. I didn't feel the best, but tomorrow's a new day, next week's a new week, whatever it might be.
So similar to when if you've fallen off the wagon and you've missed a couple of weeks of training, instead of jumping back into like 5 days hardcore training, maybe just go, let's work my way back into it.
Yeah, 100%.
2, 3 days, 4 days. And if you're finding 4 days is good, 3 or 4 days exercising and your food's starting to come back on track, then that could be enough.
Yeah.
Or if you're like, no, I really want to get back to 5 to 6 days of exercising, then just work your way back into it. Mm-hmm. I feel like people set too bigger goals,
especially if they have time off.
Yeah, that's right.
I need to get back to where I am.
I need to get back to where I am. This, that, and then what happens? You burn out.
Yeah.
So setting smaller goals to work your way back into it. Just tick the boxes. Know that you're human. If you make mistakes, it's fine. You get up again and do it the next day.
Yeah. So if you're someone who's listening and you're feeling like you're in a slump, you got no motivation, I think it's important that, like we just spoke about, you write those non-negotiables down. So your fitness non-negotiables, your diet non-negotiables, your work or your business non-negotiables. So you can refer back to it. If you wake up one day and you feel like crap, you can just go, all right, today I'm just going to just go in and get my name marked off. I'm going to go for my walk. I'm going to eat my meals, and I'm going to do what I have to do at work to keep the wheels turning.
Yeah.
I think another big thing is when you're feeling flat is exercise actually helps re-energize you and get you flowing again, like going for a walk or going to the gym or whatever it might be.
Yeah, yeah. And that's like, how many times have in your life have you had people say to you that don't like to exercise? And like I said, I'm not having a go at anyone that doesn't like to exercise, whatever, have said to you, how can you be bothered? How can you be bothered to train every day? And then you're sort of sitting there thinking, well, like how can you not? Like, how can you not want to train or exercise? Have respect for your body, and the way that you feel when you do exercise and train is amazing.
I think the problem is, but they haven't had that feeling.
No, that's exactly what I was getting at. Yeah. And that's exactly. So it comes back to the people that haven't really stepped a foot inside a gym or started to exercise. They haven't, or they've had a bad experience. Yeah. They've gone, fuck, where do I start? They've signed up to the gym. They've hooked them up with a personal trainer, and they've had a bad experience, and they're like, fuck, I'm out. I don't want to exercise anymore. I hate that industry. And then they look down on it. And there's a lot of people out there.
Well, we've had people that have signed up to a challenge in the same boat.
Yeah, that's right.
They're like, oh no, I don't want to do a challenge. I've done one before at so and so or with so and so, and I had a really bad experience. And then we're on the other side going, trust us, it is completely different.
Yeah, we
actually give a crap what your results are, how you're feeling. We want you guys to finish, because if everyone finishes, that's our payment, really. Yeah. That's our marketing. That's their word of mouth that they had a great experience with the challenge.
Yeah, well, that's to me. How satisfying is someone coming into one of our challenges that haven't exercised ever really,
or had a bad experience,
and they've turned it around. Yeah. You see them they're quiet at the start of the challenge, and then they're just posting in
loving
the challenge, loving it, and they come up to at the end of the challenge, the awards night, and they're like, that was the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah,
like, and that's exactly what I mean. What I'm saying, like, you exercising and training and having care for your body should be enough motivation to actually do it and get started. I understand a lot of people don't have as much time as anybody else, but doing something is better than doing nothing. Yeah. And if you do something, you're going to feel so much better for it. Like saying that, like motivation for us, I guess something that we've always done and we've experienced, and that's how and it makes us feel really good. It's like the good euphoric sort of feeling after getting good exercise, no matter what we do. And coming into winter with that a drop, if you can keep it up, you're gonna continue forward and feel that good feels.
Yeah, I think the hard part is for people, especially if they're trying to get motivated again, they get overwhelmed and they don't know where to start, especially when it comes to fitness. They're like, oh, my friend's doing this diet, my 100%. Friend's doing this exercise, and I don't know what to do.
For sure.
Whereas what you just said, just get started.
Yeah.
Take that first step.
It is. And another, it shits me up the walls is people that maybe haven't got into training, and they look on social media and they see this body image and they're like, fuck, that's what I've got to do. You know what I mean? And they go and do that, and it didn't work for them, and then that's it. They hands up, it didn't work for me. You know what I mean? Everyone's different. Not everybody's going to look the same, but it all comes down to obviously finding something that works for you that you like to do and then sticking to it.
Yeah.
And it's like social media can be a killer for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially for young bodybuilders or people that want to lift weights. I mean, if you're in there training and growing muscle and losing body fat, then you're winning. Not everyone's going to stand on the stage of Olympia. You know what I mean? CrossFitters as well. Some of these CrossFitters that are at the CrossFit Games look insane, ridiculous. Like, so, their physiques. And then people that go, I've got to sign up to CrossFit because that's how I want to look. And then they hurt themselves or they don't like it. It's too hard. And they're like, I'm stepping away from it. But
I think it's important to note too that all those people that you speak about on social media and Olympia stage or CrossFit, they're not motivated every day either.
100%.
They're going to go through the same cycles that everyone else is going through, but they have that blueprint of non-negotiables that they'll stick to no matter what, because they've trained their mind that, whatever happens, there's always a high and there's always a low, and there'll always be another high.
And they're elite athletes.
Yeah.
So they've gone through this shit. I mean, it's hard for them to get up every day and do it as well, but they do it. A lot of them would love it. I guarantee there's probably a few that don't love it, but that's what their job is, and there's pressure on them to do it.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they've had their, obviously, how hard would footy players be for footy players?
Oh,
get up and train, athlete, exercise every day.
Yeah.
You come off a loss, you look in the media and you're getting absolutely slammed. You're like, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. I just want to live my life.
Yeah.
But they get up and they do it every day. It's hard, but it's normal to go through those slumps.
Yeah.
100%.
So basically, if you are lacking motivation at the moment, like we've just said, start small, break down what it is you're trying to achieve, and then write down the steps that it needs to take for you guys to get there. Super, super small. Like Dax has belted out this whole podcast. Just start and start small. Don't set a massive goal. Secondly, enjoy it. Make sure what you're doing, you're enjoying. If you're in a job that you hate, it might be time to start looking for a new job, and that might be the first kick of that first step of motivation. If you aren't enjoying the way that you're training, it might be time to branch out and try some other gyms or other training styles. If you don't like your diet, it might be time to reach out to your coach or whoever's doing your diet and ask for a change. There's a million things that can be changed, and the main thing to keep motivation high is that you enjoy it, because that's what's going to get results. Celebrate the wins. Sometimes we get, especially when the motivation is high, you just feel like you're on a tear and you're like, I don't care, like this has come out really good. But when the motivation is low and you don't celebrate that win, it sets you back a little bit as well. So make sure you celebrate the wins on the way, no matter what they are, financial, fitness goals, whatever it might be. If you are someone who needs to be held accountable, get a PT, a mentor for business, a life coach, whatever it might be. You can find someone who's going to keep you accountable, even if it's a buddy that you just meet up with every morning and go to the gym. If there's someone that is relying on you to show up as well, you're pretty much, for me anyway, if I know that I'm meeting someone at the gym, you'd be the same at 8 o'clock in the morning and you're tired as hell, you just want to lay there, you're going to get up and go because you don't want to let that person down. And you feel like an idiot if you message him and say, I'm not coming.
That's why I don't have a training partner. No, but I feel like a massive thing for keeping motivated, whether it's training or business, is find a routine. Get into a routine, no matter what it is. You know what I mean? If it's getting up at 5 o'clock and going for a walk, coming back, having your breakfast, sending some emails and going to work, do that every day.
Yeah.
because the minute that you go, fuck, not today, and then you're like, that was good yesterday, and then what happens? 2-3 days has passed and your routine's out the door. I personally feel like routine is everything.
Well, yeah, that routine should be the blue. Like,
yeah, and you know what? And you have like, I have a routine Monday to Friday. Saturday and Sunday totally different, but I don't care. If I sleep in a bit more, if I do miss a training session, it's maybe because I needed to sleep in or I'm tired. I spoke to a mate yesterday. I haven't spoke to him in a couple of months. And I go, bro, how you been? How's everything? He goes, mate, I'm in my routine. I'm good. That's all he said. That's all he wants. He's the most, you know who I'm talking about, Sima? He's the most routine person I've ever met in my life. Bang, his alarm goes up at 5, wakes up, has a coffee, feeds his chickens, ducks, horses, comes back in, eats his wheat bix. I just know his routine. Then trains for an hour and a half in his garage and then goes to work. He does the same thing every day. And if he does that, he's happy because he feels really good about it and it's worked. But he's worked out that routine, what works best for him.
But I bet if he missed that, he would feel like shit.
That's what I'm saying. He's good because he's in his routine. If he's out of his routine, he would be basically say, bro, I'm out of routine. I feel like shit. And that's all it takes to find that routine. And not everybody's routine is going to be the same. It might be waking up at 5 or 6. Maybe it's wake up at 7, have a coffee, read a book, stuff social media, then go to work. And that's your routine. That's perfect. Just stick with it as best you can.
And I think the last point for trying to get the motivation back is sometimes it's good just to take a step back and just leave for a little bit. So go on a holiday, take a weekend off, like don't go on your phone, don't think about work or fitness or whatever it might be. Sometimes when you take that step back, you come back so much more fired up. I know when you go to Thailand on a holiday, you're like, I just need a break and go to Thailand. When you're over there, 3-4 days into it, you're banging on your phone. Oh, what about this idea? What about that idea? What about that? But before you leave, you're like, oh man, I can't be bothered. I'm tired. I don't want to do anything.
Yeah, that's the thing. That 100%, you nailed it. Thailand for me was the thing that's fully reset my brain, and I always come back feeling $1 million. And it's been hard for the last 2 years. I've had to find other ways to find things to spark me back up. You know, Parramatta doesn't help. Fucking hell, the Eels. But you know what I mean? Like, it's simple as going away on a holiday. Somewhere that you love to do and you are fully relaxed. And for us, we go over there, and that might not be the most relaxing holiday for someone because we go there when we train our ass off. But for us, it's so relaxing because we train, we get that euphoric sort of feeling, and then we go and swim in the pool and we just cruise. That for us is, if it's just simple as going there and you get up, eat your food and lay by the pool all day, it's going to pay off. You're going to come back feeling a lot better.
And it might not even be a holiday. It might just be going, if you're stuck at your desk at work and you're feeling unmotivated, go for a half-hour walk.
Simple. They're daily things you can do. Daily things you can do. I think a holiday is very important. And a lot of people have been trapped for the last 2-3 years 100%. Because of this COVID. That maybe it's affected a lot of people. And
the weather.
The weather. Absolutely. That's another factor as well. The weather's, the rain, it's hard to. Another thing too I wanted to say, a lot of people that do, if they're just simply walking or running every morning for exercise, and I said before, if it's hard to get up and go in this cold weather, your body's aching, your knees are sore, that's going to put you off. I feel like something you could do is maybe join a gym. You know, I feel like walking on a treadmill is boring as hell. But if it's going to keep you in your routine in exercise and training, then maybe it's time to join a gym. It's going to be a bit warmer in there as well.
And I think anyone who's signed up to this challenge as well, not that we're doing this isn't on the challenge, or anyone who's following some sort of fitness program or whatever it might be through winter, it's probably the hardest time to do it. So if you can stick to a routine, a diet, a training plan now, by the time the warmer weather comes around, your body's going to be conditioned, your mind's going to be conditioned, you're already going to be at a great starting place and not have to play catch up come September, October, when the weather starts to warm up and you want to go down the beach.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, I hope you guys are feeling motivated. I'm feeling motivated.
We've got some questions.
Question 1
was just show me your calves. There we go.
I'm wearing trackies.
Ari's got big calves. But he won't be able to get his leg that high. Benefits of volume training. The benefits of volume training is the same benefits of heavy lifting. is muscle growth, muscle strength.
You're jamming more blood in there. You're jamming more nutrients in there. It stretches the muscle fascia, which makes it grow.
Yep.
So
So it's just another way to obviously grow. I feel like something simple is doing a strength phase, then split it with a volume phase. And the volume phase for me would be between 15 and 20 reps at like 60 to 70%. And make sure you're consuming a carb meal before. And like I said, jamming as much blood into that muscle because you've got more reps. And as you need to drop the weight, it gives you... literally, you're going to feel like you're just training arms, for an example. The difference you feel from volume to strength training is the pump is way more intense than strength. You're probably going to feel it, not so much pump, but you will build up stronger in maybe a shorter period of time.
Yeah. I think with volume, a lot of people will think, oh, I'll go super light and do high reps. You still want there to be some resistance.
Of course.
Otherwise, you're not going to grow.
Yeah, you don't want to just bang out 20.
You want to just be getting 20.
And the question I got asked yesterday was, heavy lifting helps grow muscle, and does volume training lean you out? And no. Leaning you out is due to exercise and calorie deficit.
Yeah.
And these two styles of weight training will still lead to muscle growth.
Yeah. Strength training versus volume training are going to change your physique as well. Strength-based...
Talking physique-wise, absolutely,
Yeah, strength-based athletes are going to look different to a bodybuilder who trains volume. But volume's good.
Yep. I'm going to have to send you this video for it to be the answer.
Okay.
Royce Squirrel. Dax, how did your son play for his debut against Raiders in the Magic Round? You sent me this video. You know what? You sent me this video yesterday telling me that this guy looks like mine. Do you think this guy looks like me in the crowd?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. That's so good. I'll put it up on the screen.
Thank you, Royce. Yeah, he played well. Very proud of my son. Ronnie, Dorian, and Jay. I don't really know how to answer this. F1, marry one and kill one. I love them all. I love them all. That's my answer. But you know what? Dorian's the man. Jay Cutler, fuck.
Jay would be the one you want to marry. He's loaded.
Yep. Yeah, I think marrying Ronnie would be hard.
Yeah.
You have to help him out around the house too much. Dorian would be... it'd be hard to live with. Chill. I think he's like... I love that he's like spiritual and content like that, but I feel like some of the conversations would just trip me out.
Yeah.
Like he's a bit of a stoner.
Yeah.
What are good performance products that you could recommend and for class hit style sessions? Can you answer this one?
Class hit style sessions, performance products.
Yeah, performance products. Yeah.
Well, if things that would benefit both males and females would be things like creatine, depending on the sort of if these classes are kind of, I don't know if they've got weights involved in whatever. Some sort of caffeine-based products, so a fat burner or a pre-workout. Something like a laxo or something like a hard, which is going to help metabolize and burn that stubborn fat. A carnitine, which is going to help burn and metabolize that stubborn fat, plus also dig into
beta-alanine,
nootropics.
Beta-alanine.
Well, yeah, that'll be in the pre or There's heaps and heaps. But as a simple, I'd go something caffeine-based, pre-workout or fat burner, hard, and probably like a protein powder post with a creatine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Does macronutrient timing lead to better energy levels throughout the day and training? I feel like a lot of it'd be different.
Yeah.
I feel like macronutrient timing is very important around training. I feel like what works best for myself and a lot of people that I've put diets on, like a carb meal, a higher carb meal is perfect around training time. Yeah, so carbs and protein around before and after training, not so much, like pretty much no fats around that. And then throughout the day for energy as well, a lot of people tend to feel better off like protein and fats throughout the day for energy because the fats will help. Well, we won't talk about keto, but the ketones with the fats and more energy.
Sometimes the carbs can make people feel a bit sluggish.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. That's exactly what I was getting at. Carbs can drop people, feel sluggish, feel like that. I feel like it's just best something you got to work out for yourself. Yeah. So yeah, it does.
Yeah,
I think
100%.
it's around training for sure.
Yeah.
And throughout the day, it's just going to take you figuring out what works best for yourself, whether it'd be a carb or a fat for energy. If I don't have carbs, I'm a mess.
I think the other side of that is hydration as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Do you suggest people have time off supplements entirely, or just caffeine focused subs?
Oh man, I don't have time off subs, to be honest. Like on the labels it says you should, but man, in 20 years I haven't taken time off a pre or maybe a day.
We like, and I do personally suggest people do have time off pre-workouts if they're belting very high stimulated. There's some pre-workouts that are back now that are like 500 megs of caffeine, and then they've chucked like English walnut in there with that 250, which is another stimulant-based ingredient. And if they're smashing that for 16, 20 weeks every workout, then I for sure have a break. Someone that's probably just using a pre-workout that's, pretty, something like Magic that is not massively high in caffeine, but got good performance-based ingredients in there.
Yeah.
Focus,
Cycle
endurance.
Your pre-stims, yeah.
And like for myself, that's what I have, and I'll have a scoop of mushies throughout the day, and I don't drink coffee. So what are we looking at? 350 megs of caffeine for me for the whole day. That's. I feel like, why would I cycle off that if that's pretty low caffeine these days?
For sure.
These days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Short answer, I don't know. You don't have to, but everyone's different. Like Dak said, it's important that you're not just smashing your body with high stims all the time. Cycle your pre's.
This is a good one for you, actually.
Here we go.
Your advice to building more thickness through the back, traps, and middle back. No, I'm not being a smartass. You actually do have thick back and thicker rhomboids and traps way more than me. And I've tried for years. I know that's a weak spot. But for me, what I try and do more so is just think of 3 to 4 different exercises that don't sort of hit the same part of the muscle in your back and absolutely annihilate.
You know what I think it comes down? I remember like when I was first starting to train and I would see people like Ronnie and Dexter Jackson, and when they're walking from behind and they've just got that, it almost looks like a T from their trap all the way down. It's like, I want that. Yeah. That is what I want.
And I think rack pulls really worked well for you.
Rack pulls.
I knew you were going to say rack pulls. I feel like and deads have worked very well.
The other thing that I've noticed is when people are training back, they pull heaps too much with their arms and get no back engagement.
Yeah,
I think it's important, like, to get into the training. And when we trained with we did a training thing down at G6 and I put the boys through a back workout. I was teaching them to engage their back first and then pull.
Yep.
A lot of people just start pulling and they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're engaging. If you engage your back first, switch all that trap, rhomboid and thing on, then pull and squeeze. I think that's what helps directly target it. But yeah,
but if you say to someone, mind into muscle, which is what you're talking about, they had no idea what you're talking about. But it's basically like when you're, if you were to close your eyes and say do a seated row or a T-bar row, you want to actually feel that through your back. And if you don't feel it in your back and you're feeling it more in your forearms, then you're doing the exercise wrong.
Yeah.
If we were to name 3 exercises that are going to build thickness through your back and middle back, I would say T-bar row.
Yep. Deadlift or rack pulls.
Deadlift or rack pulls.
Yep.
And you know the hammer strength row where it's got the handle side.
There's a ripper hammer strength one. I think they had it in Thailand. Remember the one? It's got the chest pad here, and it's got those 2.
Yeah.
That is just the middle back
so that's
builder.
okay. So so your hands were angled that way, right? So a T-bar row, right? If you're gonna hit like that, then maybe you need to go over the top of the T-bar row, so that machine the side, and then a dumbbell row is straight on, and you're ripping it back to your lower back. So that's 3 different angles to your hand. So you're hitting 3 different spots. It's perfect.
Yeah,
that's our advice. We're not walking around with the most thickest backs, but we have it a dig. We give it a dig. Sorry. What are the benefits of natural test booster, and what what they actually do.
You know what? Things like test boosters cop so much flack from people that think they're supplement experts and they know this and know that.
No. Let's. You know what? I'm going to touch on that. Where people go, amino acids don't work.
Yeah.
Now, okay, if you're one of those people out and say, tell me amino acids don't work, what are we eating fucking chicken and steak and fish for?
Bzz. Amino acids.
No, everyone's like, and then but that expert will go, no, the protein. We're like, break protein down into amino acids. So how the fuck can aminos not work for your body to recover and repair and you're telling me food does? Wow.
I think that the thing is...
That's the most annoying thing I've ever heard.
The thing is, if you're someone who does, goes to the gym every now and then, you've got a couple of goals, but, you're super focused on you're just an everyday sort of trainer. Probably don't waste your money on it. I agree, 100%. But if you're trying to build and maintain muscle tissue, you're solidly focused on, bodybuilding or CrossFit or even just getting jacked for a festival, yes, I would be taking amino acids post-workout, but making sure that they're the full spectrum, BCAA and EAA. Test boosters as well, there's been studies that show, we've seen people in the fitness industry, Massive Joe, he always gets his blood work done before and after a test booster. Yep. That's all online to see that, yes, his natural testosterone did go up. And the benefits of high tests are going to be things like more energy, higher strength levels, more libido. I know as soon as you take a test booster, it kicks in because you get that little bit of mongrel back. You get that little bit of a libido kick and you start to feel good again.
Yeah. And another thing a lot of people do, like, why would I take a natural test booster when I can take gear? Okay, genius. Cool. We get that,
well
right?
Done.
Not everybody wants to take gear,
yeah,
right? And yes, you're probably going to put more muscle on using gear.
Well, yes, you are.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Now, who's going to get probably the most side effects, right? I can guarantee the person on the gear. Now, if you're just a normal day person that's just looking to increase the strength in the gym, increase libido, which is very important for males as we get older because it lowers because of our testosterone levels, lower stress and cortisol, then get a natural test booster. Get one that's good. We talk about the primal test all the time. You watch. We sell it and we constantly sell this product back to back for people that use it that have loved it.
Because they feel better.
And these people go away and know they're not going to build slabs of muscle, but they're feeling so much better. They've got better strength and they're at home doing more of that. And they feel better for it, so they should.
I think it's important too. Like if you're younger, like sub 25, I wouldn't worry with a test booster. You got enough. Like save your money, put it into something like creatine or
so before people slam, and this guy has not been, he's just simply asked that question.
Yeah.
You can't direct what you just said.
No,
to him.
definitely not to him. No, definitely not.
Yeah.
That was just more general fitness industry crap.
Recommendations on best supplements for optimizing gut health. Well, I feel like that's a simple one, that one.
Yeah. So Magic Mornings and a greens product, whether it's White Wolf Greens, Vitality, or even the new Primal Greens, which is coming. What is it? Not Primal Greens. Is that what it's called? Every day from Primabolics. Yeah. A nice solid green supplement and Magic Mornings. Perfect.
Yep. Ideal body fat range for a healthy male. Do you think it's the same for everyone?
No. It's definitely not the same for everyone. Because people could be unhealthy at 10% and healthy at 20.
Yep.
It's I think, I don't know, 20%-ish?
Yeah, I think healthy range would be between 15 and 20%, for sure.
Yeah.
Like if absolutely, you're not going to be overweight at 20% body fat. But I feel like if it continues on from there 30 to 35, 40%, probably going to be holding a bit like a bit of body fat. In saying that, doesn't mean you're going to be unhealthy at 30% body fat. So don't think if you're 30% body fat, you're on 40 fat. Wow. Body fat, you're going to be unhealthy.
That's going to make the highlight reel.
I knew it.
And it's also important to note where that fat sits in your body, if it's around your organs or if it's just body fat.
Yeah.
If it's around your organs, it's a bit more of a problem.
Yep. Cool. Another one from that young kid up at Tugra. Wait, you always get one right at the end, don't you? Cursor or Chilling It?
I gotta say, oh, they're different. They're too different. I mean, Cursor's like the OG, and I know what you're gonna pick, but Chilling It has some bangers too.
It's no real.
It's like
It's not
saying
a challenge for me.
It's like saying the Lakers or Sydney Kings, eh?
That's right. You know, Chilling It's still in the NBL. Cursor's made the NBA. He's won 16 championships. No, it's no. I don't. I'm not a fan of Chilling It. I think he's the most unhumble person ever.
You heard it here first.
No, just some of his music is good. I think it just sounds like he's just rapping at preschool.
Oof. Give us a rap while we're on air.
No. Whatever. Good luck to him, but he doesn't really compare. As a human person, I don't feel like he's nearly as close.
Okay.
All right.
Done.
I think that's the best way I can put it out there.
And saying that wraps up episode number 8.
Thank
We're
you.
almost at 10. If you guys can hit that like and subscribe button, it would mean the world to us so we can keep doing these videos. If you got any questions or topics you want us to cover, drop us a Instagram comment below, whatever it might be. And
Are people writing comments in below the videos?
Yeah,
I never
people
checked
enjoying
that
them.
part.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or we get comments back on our personal Instagram and from customers, which is amazing.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I never read the comments on the YouTube. Yeah, sweet.
Should just also give a shout out to the new NXT-GEN tees as well.
How old's this one?
Heaps old. I thought you were going to wear a new one for it.
I've only seen them this morning.
In store and online now. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.